Hello, Mr. Drew, and a big congrats on your short film, Princessa. It's heartfelt and thought-provoking, and I enjoyed it. I love it.
Well, thank you very much, Manny. We actually worked with 40 people on this film. And so I thank you very much for having me. And I can tell you that we are all very excited to come back to Palm Springs.
Oh, we are excited to have you back here as well. But before we go to Princessa, though, tell our viewers why you call yourself a filmmaking hobbyist.
Because I want it to stay fun. And I did work in the industry for a while. I have a broadcast background, a radio background, but when you're working with other people's money, it changes everything. And so I retired and I said, I still enjoy the hobby. I don't want it to be stressful. And so I just hooked up with a bunch of people who felt the same way. And so now we just make films for fun.
And that is amazing. It's all from the heart, the passion. But most of your films, though, are have feature Filipino cast members and or Filipino storylines. Why is that? Why do you love us so much, Mr. Drew?
Well, because I love a Filipino in particular. I've been married to a Filipino for more than half my life. And we lived in Daly City, which is like a province of the
Filipino town.
Philippines. It is actually Filipino majority. I think the only one in the United States. So over that time, my extended family, all my friends are Filipino. And so I've just been absorbing the Filipino culture and tradition and mythology. And my goodness, you talk about inspiration. Filipinos love drama and they love mythology, and so I'm so inspired by all of that, and so that's kind of what filters into a lot of my film ideas. I
Oh,
actually say, Manny, that although I'm not directly a part of the Filipino community is definitely part of me.
yeah. You're a Filipino honorary member.
Oh, thank you. Salamat po.
Walang anuman. But tell us quickly, though, how did you get into filmmaking, Mr. Drew?
Oh my gosh. I think since I was a teenager, you know, decades ago, centuries ago, like I had a paper route and I used that money to buy a film camera and I'd go around, great story. I'd go around making movies, get all my neighborhood friends to act in the movies. And then I would turn around and charge them 5 cents to come watch themselves in the movie. So I said, I knew this was going to be my career someday.
Oh, now going back to Princessa, how did you tell us more about your fantastic short film, Princessa, by the way? Tell the viewers what it's about.
Oh, I'd love to. We have the short film, but we also have a companion children's book, and the full title is Princessa, the Boy Who Dreamed of Being a Princess. And so, of course, the topic is about gender identity in children, but we wanted to tell it from the perspective of the parent. And so, in Princessa, the film, we show Ray, who's a Filipino American young father in his late 20s, and he gets confused about what to do when his young boy decides to announce in front of Ray's friends that he wants to be a princess. And so Ray's friends tell him, you've got to straighten out the boy, but Ray isn't quite sure if that's the right thing to do. And so I really hope that people will ask, what do we do when our young children don't see themselves in traditional gender roles in our stories? What if the little daughter doesn't want to be a damsel in distress, or what if a little boy prefers graceful dancing and colorful costumes? So it must be really awkward, I think, for some parents. It would be for me. So I think that any parent who can adapt and listen and react with love and support, they're like the real heroes to me of the film.
I totally agree. I love Ray. I wish I have a father like him when I was growing up.
But he's very, he's not someone who knows exactly what to do. He's What I like about him is he's very vulnerable and he shows that he makes mistakes. One of my favorite parts of the film is when he says, "Oh, son, you don't want to be a princess, don't you want to be brave?" And his daughter says, "But daddy, princesses can be brave too, right?" And he's like, "Ah, okay." You've
It's true.
got a
And you
point.
know what? I can identify with it. I mean, I too wanted to be a princessa, but really, really though, I wanted to be Darna. You know Darna, right?
Ah, I do. Yes, yes, yes. She twirls around and becomes a superhero or something.
Our
Yes,
Filipino Wonder Woman, which by the
yes.
way is came out earlier than Wonder Woman in
Ah,
yes. So there you go.
see, there you go. Thank you, Philippines.
Yes. So there's a local connection with Prinsessa, right? Our very own Marconi Calindas Cafe, our local visual artist, served as the art director, right? Tell us more about it. Tell us about collaborating with Marconi in this.
Yeah, a wonderful stroke of luck for our film. So when we were creating the film, as I mentioned, we also have a companion children's book. And so I was looking for an illustrator for the children's book. And our production assistant introduced us to Marconi. And I looked at Marconi's work, and it's like, wow, it's right in your face. And
I know
yes,
you want.
exactly. It's bold, it's bright, it's vibrant, it's joyous. And I thought that's exactly how a child might dream, of their environment in our story. And but the thing about Marconi's work is, if you look closer, there are hidden elements inside the vibrant drawing. And I thought, this is the story that we're trying to tell with multiple layers. If if you look more closely at something, you may see it in a different way. And so I just fell in love, and I knew Marconi was our guy. And so it turned out that Marconi thought so too. He was creating his own children's book against bullying. And so there was great synergy, and it's a great enduring friendship. Actually, Marconi is still a great friend to this day. So it was a great meeting for sure.
Oh, and there's an event on Saturday, September 10th, featuring artwork by Marconi with Princessa as the featured film. And I will be moderating. I'm so excited about it. Tell us more
Yay!
about that, though.
Yeah, so from what I understand, Marconi is getting an exhibition there at the Cultural Center, I do believe, which he so richly deserves. I'm so glad that more people are going to get to be able to see his work. And Marconi wanted to share the film Princessa, which features his artwork, as one of the leading events that opens up this exhibition. And I should point out that Princessa has been to the desert before. We were a festival favorite winner for
Yeah.
Cinema Diverse some years ago. So it's so exciting to come back there.
And this time, it's also along with Cinema Diverse because it's happening right around the same time. And so
Right.
our little Princessa is the main thing there. So I'm so happy about that. You know what, Mr. Drew, some of your other short films I enjoyed, by the way. I saw all
Ah,
of them. Nanay's Lullaby,
oh,
the
thank you.
oh my God, the heart-wrenching Tape 96, and Bound
Ah,
for Heaven.
wow.
What is next for Drew Stevens? What's next for our film hobbyist?
I don't know. There's not enough room in my brain for all the ideas of things that we want to do. But we're all always, like, some of them are a little bit too big because the downside of filmmaking for fun is that you're using your own money. So I have these grand ideas for the next film, and I have several, but we have to think about if we can spend the money to make them. But I will say, Nanai's Lullaby was in last year's Cinema Diverse, and we won a festival favorite award there as well. And so that festival run is just ending. So that'll be available on YouTube pretty soon, and so we're excited about that.
You know what I love about, and that's why I agreed to be the moderator here, because you know what I love about what you guys are doing with Princessa, it's actually teaching, it's anti-bullying, all
Mhm.
those all those great causes, right? So what's next for Princessa? Is it continuing to make its rounds with schools, libraries? What's happening?
I am so glad that you brought that up because I make all these films for fun and we're like friends who get together and play. But the legacy of Princessa has been vast. First of all, I do want to point out that there were like 40 people who worked on this film and were all volunteers. Nobody took a paycheck on this at all, including Lika, which is a world-renowned dance company. We have an Emmy Award winning musician who did a Filipino fusion score. Um, and so that was incredible. But it's been seen, I think, 55 theaters screenings, 14 countries. It's been dubbed or translated into 4 different languages. When we were in Cambodia, the actors actually dubbed it into Khmer, and it's played in Myanmar and France and Kyiv, Ukraine. So we've been able to share this message literally around the world and in places that don't often get to see stories like this. We even had a protest in Indonesia where people bravely went through the protest lines to be able to watch the film. So um, it's been rewarding in that way. But we've also been able to raise charity money for charities. The book, when the book came out, we were on the top 100 of Amazon's anti-bullying books, children's books. We've raised money for Trevor Project and Typhoon Yolanda victims and some other things. And we still, this is several years old now, but we're still playing in theaters. A few months ago, we were in San Diego and Las Vegas and now Palm Springs. So it's just been incredibly rewarding.
Well, like for instance, the event on September 10th with Marconi, I mean, it's attached with transgender awareness as well, the transgender project. So, I mean, great karma all around.
And all of this started. I didn't tell you the story, but it all started because I went to a store to buy a toy for my nephew, and the toy store was divided into boys' toys and girls' toys. And I thought, how absurd this is to put gender on toys. And so I wanted to have a little film where a boy could play with a mermaid doll and a girl could play with dinosaurs. So I never imagined that it would have this kind of a global reception. So it's just been overwhelming and wonderfully rewarding.
And all those kids will grow up like well-adjusted people like you and I, Mr. Drew.
Well, I hope even better in my case.
A big congrats on your body of work again, Mr. Drew. I can't wait to see you on Saturday, September 10th at 6 p.m. Once again, it's Marconi Calindas Life in Color opening night at the Palm Springs Cultural Center. And I just want to say, really, ako si Prinsesa. I am the princess.
Indeed, we all are. Yes.
We all are. A big congrats again, Drew. And I can't wait to see you Saturday, okay?
Manny, thank you very much.
Oh, maraming salamat.
Okay, bye.